Hello everyone, my name is Molly, and today we're here to talk about Supernatural Season 13, Episode 5. This was the one episode of Supernatural that I've missed in the past few seasons, since I started watching it live. This is like the only episode I missed, and of course, what episode is it? The one where Baby finally comes back, okay? Of course. I was so mad because I was away, so I was just super busy and I just didn't have the chance to watch it live. And I was like, I'll just wait till I get home, nothing much has been happening. It looks like from the trailer it's gonna be a filler episode, like I'm not gonna miss anything. And I go on Twitter the next day. We found out who the new death was. Dean died and went to talk to the new death, and Babe comes back. Like, really? Really? The one episode that I missed. As soon as I had the chance, I plopped down with my laptop and was like, screw it, I'm watching Supernatural. And so I did, so here we are. This was a very creepy episode as far as the hunt went. It really didn't focus on the hunt that much, which was weird because I was expecting it to, like I said, be a filler episode. But this episode was so much bigger than that. Just know, guys, that you'll get more than you expect from this episode. If you haven't watched it already, go watch it because it's awesome. It's also definitely a tearjerker a little bit, some of the things that Dean is saying and some of the things that happen. So definitely be prepared for tears and screams and all that fun stuff that always happens. But if you guys haven't seen the episode, like I said, go watch it, then come back and we can talk about it. But if you haven't seen it, I'm going to say goodbye to you now because spoilers. So, goodbye! Are you guys ready? So, this episode, or the beginning half of the episode, I guess we can say, is the hunt. Sam and Dean decide, hey, we're gonna go out on a hunt. We haven't been together, just you and me, in a little while. Like, let's just go. So they go, and the episode opens with this creepy-ass doctor with this weird bird mask. I know it's a plague mask, but I'm just gonna call it a bird mask because it looks like a bird. Dr. Birdman over here. The episode opens with him and the two boys stuck in the house, and the doctor is drilling into their heads, and the poor boy runs out screaming. I felt so bad, and it was just creepy. It started the episode off super creepy. I know a lot of people said they got season 1 vibes from it, which I could see, so it was really fun to watch that. The kid that survives the initial visit to the house ends up not speaking. He won't talk to anyone because he's super distraught because he just watched his friend's head get drilled into. So he's very upset, and Dean goes up to him and he's like, I know what it feels like. I know that when you go to sleep, they won't leave you alone in your dreams, and I know that it's never enough. And I was like, oh my god, Dean, I just loved that connection, I love when Dean connects with people. It was just a really sweet moment between him and Sean. But also in that scene, Dean sees Sean drawing the picture of the doctor, and he never really takes notice of it. It's just kind of this drawing. And I'm obviously this kid was through a traumatic experience. He's drawing what he saw. So then we jump to a scene where we find out Sam and Dean are staying in an actual hotel, which was really weird because they usually stay in these crappy motels, and they're in this nice hotel, and then they're walking up and Sam's like, so strip club? And Dean's like, what? And it was so funny because Sam's just like, strip club, right? And I was like, what? I thought it was really funny. He starts going on and he's like, yeah, this one has 4 stars, and Dean's like, wait, you read reviews about strip clubs? I was dying during that scene. And then he's like, the last lap dance you got, I bought for you last Christmas, and you spent the entire song trying to convince her to go to nursing school. Gotta love Sam, man. Eventually, throughout the episode, we meet this kid, this other kid, who, him, Sean, and the kid that died were this trio. They were inseparable, and he just didn't go with them that night that the first one got murdered. When Sam goes to visit this third kid, the kid's like, no, I never knew where they were going, they never told me. Your friend got murdered. It's important that they know where they were. That's a big big deal. And, like, I don't understand how it would be incriminating for this kid to lie about where his friends were. Like, it just didn't really make sense to me, and I was like, why are you lying? Like, there's no point to lying. So going back to the hotel, we find Dean at the breakfast bar, hungover with his glasses and his, like, shirt's undone, and I was just like, oh, honey. And then Sam freaking gives him a beer. I'm like, I know you're trying to be nice, but enabling him isn't really helping. Eventually, the boys find out where the friends were and all about the house and stuff, and they find out about the doctor. My immediate thought is, like, obviously he's connected to the mask. And then they say, like, oh yeah, he was cremated. So obviously he's connected to the mask. What else would he be connected to? Like, they seem to take a while to get to that conclusion. I was like, I knew that from the very beginning, honey. And then the doctor appears when Sam and Dean are in the house, and Dean's like, what's up, doc? And I was like, oh, Dean. So after we take care of the doctor, we had all these other ghosts that were trapped in the house. So Dean decides to kill himself to free up the ghosts. And I was like, oh my god. Like, it was like within a span of a few seconds, Dean was like, I'm just gonna die. You just put the needle back in me in 3 minutes and then we'll be good. And he just like stabs himself and dies. And I was like, what? Dean! I love how casual it is that Dean died. Like, it was just like, oh my god, Dean, what are you doing? It wasn't like, oh my god, he's dead. It was just like, Dean, really? But when Dean does die and he reappears as, like, his ghost form, a Reaper comes and is like, I'm here to guide you. And he's like, yeah, I'm a little busy right now, thanks. And he, like, walks away and the Reaper's like, and then she finds out it's Dean, and she's like, oh my god, Dean Winchester is dead, and like freaks out, and it's so funny. Eventually, while Dean is wandering around in his ghost form, he finds Sean, and it turns out Sean was possessed by the doctor, and the doctor killed Sean using Sean's body. And I just found that so heartbreaking, because that's horrible. Like, he killed himself, but he had no control over it. I felt so bad for Sean. And then Dean, I felt so bad for him too, because you could just see his face fall, and he was so upset. And I was like, no, not again. So then we get to meet the new Death, and nobody will ever replace Julian Richings as Death, because he is amazing, and I loved him, and I kind of miss the dude. But we find out Billy is the new Death, and Dean ends up being like, wait, Cass killed you, and Billy's like, how's that working out for him? And Dean just is like, and I was like, no, I don't care what he did to you, you did not say that to him. There's a scene where Billy's like, you can ask me for anything, Dean, and Dean asks to free the ghost. I wanted to analyze this a little bit with you guys, because my first thought would be bring everyone back. Bring Cass back, bring Kelly back, bring Mary back, bring Kelly back. You know, I would think that that would be the first thing that his mind jumps to, because that's the only thing that's been on his mind for the past however long it's been since they all died. So I was really surprised that he didn't even take the time to, like, think about the decision. He wasn't like, maybe I should ask for Cass. No, the noble thing to do would be to free the ghost, because in the end I do think he made the right decision of freeing the ghosts, because if it weren't for him, I don't think they would have ever been freed, and I think it was a very big moment for Dean. It was just completely selfless. He was like, no, these people deserve to be saved, and I'm gonna get them out of here. After that whole situation goes down, Billy then starts analyzing Dean, and is talking about, like, how he's changed, and he's different, and then Dean goes on to be like, I don't matter, and I was just like, no, you matter, honey, you matter. I just wanted to cry. We find out that Dean actually is accepting of his death, and he doesn't really want to go back. Like, he killed himself without a second thought because he didn't care if he died. And Billy ends up saying, like, I know you don't want to live anymore. And it's one thing if the fandom thinks it, but it's another thing to have it said in canon. He wants to die. die. And that just broke my heart. It broke it into a million pieces. We find out that Death's office, or Billy's office, is basically like a bunch of bookshelves, and each bookshelf is dedicated to a person, and each book on the shelf has a different way that that person will die. I thought that was such a cool concept, to have all these scenarios as to how you will go, but you don't know which one, and so, like, even though Death is all powerful, she's not. Like, I just thought that was really cool. And then Billy's like, you're not done. You need to live. And I was like, yes, Billy. And then she goes, you have work to do. And I was like, does that mean more seasons, baby? 'Cause bring it on. But, you know, that was so reminiscent to what Cass said to Dean in Lazarus Rising, the first episode that Cass comes in, because he's like, heaven has work for you, Dean. And I was like, what's gonna happen now? So Dean comes back from the dead, and Sam starts to question it. He's like, what happened? The needle didn't work. We waited. And Dean tries to lie to Sam about Billy being Death and all that stuff, and I didn't really understand why, because I feel like that's important information to know. And also, what's the point of lying? Like, it just didn't make any sense as to why he would hide that. Maybe some of the things that she said, but not the fact that it's Billy, you know what I'm saying? But then later on, Dean admits that he's not okay, and he just needs a win. And I was like, your win's coming, babe. He's coming. During that scene, while the brothers are talking, we cut to Sean's mom, who finds out that Sean has been killed. And she goes over to the body, and she just breaks down, and I felt so bad for Sean's mom throughout this entire episode. I just really felt for her, you know, and I was so sad for her. So then, guys, this is the part that I was mad that I missed. So Dean and Sam are in the Impala, Sam's sleeping, and Dean's phone rings, alright? His phone rings, and so he picks it up, and he's like, yeah, and you see his face just change, and he's like, what? And then, like, he hangs up, and I was like, no, because we know that's Cass on the phone, but Cass, we didn't hear the phone call. How hard would it have been to put in a hello, Dean? Like, that's all you had to say. I was so mad that we didn't see that scene, because it would have been like 2 seconds long. It would have been the same amount of time that they spent on it. Cass would have just said something. And I was so mad that we didn't hear it, because I know, like, that's an important part, and we didn't hear it, and I needed that hello, Dean. But in the end, my boys reunite. We don't get to see the reunion this episode, but they pull up, and Cass turns around from the phone booth, and Cass looks like he's about to burst into tears, and Dean is like shocked, and Sam is like kind of just being Sam. The emotions, man. The emotions. And I'm so excited to see their reunion. The promo for next week, we get Cowboy Destiel, which is like so exciting, and I know so many people are comparing it to Brokeback Mountain, and I had no idea what that was, so I watched the trailer. And I just, oh my god, this fandom. But I'm literally so excited for Cowboy Destiel. And then the whole fam is going on a hunting trip. Sam, Dean, Cass, Jack. I'm excited for the Cass and Jack reunion. And then Dean is like happy again. Like, you see pictures of him smiling, and he's super excited. And I was like, it's good to have you back, honey. So those are my thoughts on the episode. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode down below. Were you just as happy about the reunion as I was? Did you think this episode was just as creepy as I did? You know, let me know all your thoughts down below. I absolutely cannot wait for next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't seen any of my previous episode talks, they will all be linked down below, as well as all my episode talks for other shows, so make sure to check those out as well. I try to upload a video every week. If you like my videos, then subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!